everyone, I'm Jessica from the DriveWorks team, and today we're going to take a look at how DriveWorks Solo can be used with magnetic mates in SOLIDWORKS 2017. DriveWorks Solo is an add-in to SOLIDWORKS that allows you to automate changes to your SOLIDWORKS models. By automating the process of making changes to your SOLIDWORKS models, you can save time and money when configuring a SOLIDWORKS model to the needs of a customer. DriveWorks Solo will not only automate the model changes, but it will also create new SOLIDWORKS drawings and customizable documentation, such as cutting list, bill of materials, quotation documents, and more. This video will specifically show a feature in DriveWorks Solo called Layout Mode. This allows you to configure a SOLIDWORKS model and insert it straight into an assembly. You can run DriveWorks over and over again, configuring and inserting new models into the same assembly. SOLIDWORKS magnetic mates were introduced with SOLIDWORKS 2017, and they allow you to quickly make components together. Models can be snapped into position based on predefined rules that you define in the asset publisher within SOLIDWORKS. Using this functionality in SOLIDWORKS 2017 alongside DriveWorks Solo, we can quickly create a completely custom assembly. In this video, we will be showing the combination of these technologies to create and edit a conveyor assembly for a factory layout. This particular DriveWorks Solo project creates custom conveyor sections which have all been pre-prepared to be used with SOLIDWORKS magnetic mates. Let's step into SOLIDWORKS and DriveWorks Solo and see this in action. Here is the assembly I'll be working with today. It is a factory layout where we must configure and place different conveyor sections to suit the needs of the customer. As you can see, I still have some work to do. I need a straight conveyor section to link the two conveyor lines in the middle. I also need a spur section to link the conveyor line with this narrower section. Finally, we will change the layout so that this curved section changes direction. This will update the rest of this section and move all of the other components to where they need to be. So, let's get started and finish this layout. We'll begin by creating a new straight section that will fill this gap. I will run the DriveWorks Solo project and fill out the form to specify a new custom conveyor. Before changing any of the dimensions, I will first click Preview. This will place a new conveyor into the SOLIDWORKS assembly. At this point, DriveWorks Solo is driving dimensions, features and custom properties within all the parts and sub-assembly of this conveyor section. Once it has calculated and driven these changes, it will insert the new component in the factory layout assembly. This conveyor is the wrong width and the wrong length, but we can still use the magnetic mates to connect both sides to the rest of the layout. We will now edit the width and the length on the DriveWorks Solo form and select the option to include side rails. By clicking OK, DriveWorks Solo will update this individual conveyor section to the correct width and the length that is required to avoid the row of pillars in the factory. DriveWorks must recalculate the rules and pass the information back to the SOLIDWORKS model for it to be updated. We can now move on to editing the curved section of this layout. This time, instead of creating a new section, we need to modify an existing section. I want this curved conveyor section to go right instead of left. Note that the rest of the conveyor sections and the machine are following the modification nicely. This is because DriveWorks also modified the definition of the magnetic mate itself. The next and final thing I want to do here is to link this narrower conveyor line in orange to the main one in green. To do this, I will modify the straight section to become a spur section instead. As I did when changing the curved conveyor, I can now also modify this straight section to be a spur section. Now I need to configure my spur. I want its length to be 2,200 mm. Its width must match the orange conveyor, which is 450 mm, and let's change its angle to be 30 degrees with a right-hand spur. With these values entered, let's preview how this will fit. Just like when creating a new section, when editing this straight section to be a spur, DriveWorks must recalculate the rules and pass the information back to the SOLIDWORKS model for it to be updated. Again, I can use the SOLIDWORKS magnetic mates to connect these sections together. Finally, let's modify the spur section to be on the opposite side. This will connect it with the palette of boxes. Once again, DriveWorks simply needs to rerun its calculations and pass this information to the spur section to ensure it matches the information on the form. Our conveyor line is now finished. To recap, I added the straight section in blue, modified the curved section direction in red, and modified a straight section to be a spur section instead, making sure all the dimensions and features were relevant. Now that I'm happy with the layout, I can click Finish All. DriveWorks Solo will now save all of the conveyor section assemblies in a new file location and with a new name based on the rules we have set up in the DriveWorks Solo project. For each conveyor section, DriveWorks Solo will create the manufacturing drawings and generate the sales and manufacturing documents such as quotes and bills of materials. This brings us to the end of this video. We've seen that by using DriveWorks Solo with SOLIDWORKS magnetic mates, you can quickly create completely custom layout assemblies with any number of configurable components. Download the 30-day DriveWorks Solo trial now by going to www.driveworkssolo.com and have a go with DriveWorks Solo yourself. Contact your SOLIDWORKS reseller for more information. Thanks for watching.